But the end of these two wars affords us an opportunity. It allows us to refocus our intelligence and military assets and resources to other parts of the world where they are needed, where we face new challenges. This is the world you are graduating into. This is what I want to talk about today with you for a few minutes. I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century in a way consistent with American interest and the common interest. Think of the possibilities. For the first time in history, the Western Hemisphere is in a position where it has the possibility of being middle class, democratic, and secure from Canada to Chile. The Pacific Basin, peaceful and prosperous. A new relationship with China where we cooperate and compete, but where conflict is not inevitable. A revitalized global trading order defined by greater integration and economic growth, where barriers are lowered at the borders and behind our borders, generating millions of American jobs, where intellectual property is protected and the playing field is level, and where major powers come together to deal with the challenges of our time that require us all to act in concert. And there are many challenges, including violent extremism that is becoming more diffuse, countries emerging from chaos in the midst of war, challenges to the international order on the high seas and in the skies, emerging threats in cyberspace, and for the first time in world history, the use of corruption and oligarchs as a sinister tool in the conduct of foreign policy. The President and I believe that all these challenges require the United States to stay engaged in the world, to lead, and to be a force for positive change. Because one thing we know for certain, if America is not on the field, the vacuum will be filled by anti-democratic forces that will attempt to shape a future around their selfish interest to the detriment of America and the world. But it's not enough to be engaged. It's necessary to have the wisdom and the humility to distinguish between those challenges that warrant us acting alone and decisively and those challenges that require building coalitions and marshaling common action. And it will not be easy. It will take patience and persistence. But it's within our grasp. It can be done. It has been done before. America has done it before. In a moment of equally great change, the generation that launched this academy 60 years ago did it. At the end of the Second World War, Europe and Asia were in ruins. America faced not only daunting challenges, but immense opportunities. But a nation tired of war and wanting to come home. There was an overwhelming desire in your grandparents' and my parents' generation to bring home every single one of the 12 million forces that remain stationed in Europe and Asia. But the leaders of that day, they knew, that generation knew that America had to stay engaged. They knew that they had to lay the foundation for a new world order, a world order that brought the longest period of sustained peace in Europe and Asia and generated the most significant economic growth in the history of mankind. They helped write the constitutions of Germany and Japan that led to democratic governments and guaranteed that neither nation would ever possess a nuclear weapon. They formed the most significant military alliance in the history of the world, NATO, out of the ashes of war. They put forth the Truman Doctrine that stopped Soviet expansion. And in the midst of all the sacrifice Americans had made, they supported a Marshall Plan, a sustained multi-billion-dollar commitment to put Europe back on its feet in order to avoid a repeat of the chaos that followed World War I and led to World War II, generating economic stability that allowed democratic institutions to flourish throughout Europe, so that we can now say we're on the verge of a Europe that is whole and free and secure. So the challenges they faced were no less than we face. But they did it, and so can we. And this morning at West Point, just an hour ago, the President laid out our strategy as how it can be done. And today I want to talk briefly with you about the lines of effort we have been pursuing and must continue to pursue in the service of that vision and your role in that vision. First and foremost, our work begins by rebuilding America's foundations, our economic foundation, our moral, and our strategic foundation. We've been working hard to rebuild our economic foundations because of what we hope to accomplish in the world. We know it is not possible unless it relies on the strength of an economy at home that's the strongest in the world. And notwithstanding the Great Recession we inherited, we nonetheless start from a powerful position in the world. We are the world's largest GDP. We have the most innovative companies and productive workers, the finest research universities in the world, an entrepreneurial instinct that is unmatched by any country in the world. And within a decade, North America will be the epicenter of energy in the world, not the Arabian Peninsula. And the way to maintain and take advantage of these great assets we possess is to invest in education, as we have in you, in infrastructure to make it the most modern in the world, and in innovation. You know, I used to give commencement speeches in the 90s, Superintendent, and the line some of you will remember, some of you who are older will remember, was that Japan was going to eat our lunch, that Japan was the future. We also used to be told that China, and it's true, is graduating 6 to 8 times as many scientists and engineers as we have. But I challenge you, name me one innovative project, one innovative change, one innovative product that has come out of China. And I want Japan to succeed as I do China. But give me a break. We've been working as well to rebuild the moral foundation of American leadership in the world. championing universal rights and freedoms. President Xi asked me, why do we focus on human rights so much in one of our long conversations? And I said, Mr. President, you don't understand. Everyone who made their way to America in the first instance came because their human rights were not being totally valued. It's stamped into the DNA of America. For a president to remain silent on abuse of human rights would be a denial of our American heritage. Part of building that moral foundation is the commitment we made to end torture and to close Guantanamo. We must not only lead by the power of our example, we must lead by the example of our power as well. And we've been working hard to modernize and strengthen the security foundation of America, retooling NATO to fit the needs of the 21st century, revitalizing our Pacific alliances with Japan and South Korea and others. In short, maintaining and strengthening our dozens upon dozens of military alliances, something no other nation can match.